Picture a door. You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is a room that feels like a different dimension. A dimension of video games. A dimension of movies. A dimension of bullshit. You're moving into a realm of thought and idea. Into a land of two dudes making a podcast. You are in the minds of Tech and Fish. God damn it. Welcome one and all to the podcast. I'm Tech.
And this is the podcast. Anyways, this is episode
4?
5? I don't know. 4. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's episode 4.
How do we lose count this early?
Because we had fucking episode 0. And it just messes everything up. So everything's a number behind what we've actually recorded. It actually came into play when I was having to edit the podcast because I started naming them all wrong. And I was like, wait a second. This isn't episode 2. This is episode 3.
1.
Wait. Oh god, I gotta go back and re-edit. Nah.
Well, anyways.
Welcome to In the Minds of Tech and Fish. The show where we pick a topic, we talk about that topic, and then we
bullshit our way through the rest of it.
Yep, that's about it. On today's episode, we would like to talk about the importance of keeping a schedule and how important it is to work sleep into said schedule.
So we say this because we hopefully by making this podcast we'll listen to
ourselves. We will in the later years we shall go back to this podcast, listen distinctively to episode 4, not any other episode of the podcast,
and then give it a like.
Give it a like,
and then we'll share it.
We'll share it to all social media. Subscribe to the channel,
and then we'll comment. And
say, "Dude, this is a pretty good podcast."
And then after that, we won't be sleep deprived anymore. So
yeah,
I promise you, if you just do all of that, you won't have to worry about.
You won't have to worry about any of your problems in life.
Just share our content.
Just share our content, and everything will be okay. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, you know how my sleeping is. It is a goddamn mess. Like we have a fairly lax schedule, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean,
besides like our Mondays.
Yeah, like I mean, for the most part, we have a very lax schedule that allows us to get sleep. But do we take that time to get sleep? No.
Well, we get a lot of time to work outside of class.
Yeah, we get a lot of time to like do shit outside of class, which I mean, you're supposed to do technically. I rarely do because I'm a slacker.
I mean, yeah. I was going to say we normally fill up that time where we should be sleeping with like working on projects and stuff, but I'm not going to lie. We bullshit
a lot.
We bullshit a lot. I mean, a lot of the times it's just us sitting there playing video games that we won't record for you guys. And,
I mean, not even that. I mean, I don't even play a lot of video games in all honesty anymore.
I've been playing a bit more lately.
But the main thing is like, I know specifically for me, I've always had problems sleeping. Just for the main fact, like I found this like whenever, like. I'll get super tired throughout the day. I'm like, God damn, I'm tired. I'm ready to sleep. I'll get into bed. I'll get all comfy. I'll roll over, lay my little head on my pillow, and I'll close my eyes. And no more than 5 minutes later, I open my eyes and I'm wide awake. And it's shit because then I'll be laying there for like 4 hours, just hoping and praying I get tired, and it never comes until like my body's just deprived of all of its energy and I just kind of go.
That's not
well, and here's also the weird thing is that like, of course you don't remember like what 75% of your dreams or some shit. Maybe it's higher than that.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. Like I'll have dreams, and on the nights that I do have dreams, like I'll remember every single dream that I had that night.
Yeah.
Like I have very vivid dreams when I do have them. But the best way I can describe how I sleep is I'll close my eyes. It'll feel like it's been 30 seconds. And then when I open my eyes, it's 7 hours later. So
I mean, that's how most sleep works when you don't dream. It just kind of feels like you blink.
Yeah, it's just a blink and it's 7 hours.
My problem is not that I'll lay there and I just can't sleep. It's just I have these. When I sleep, I don't sleep for long. I'll always just sleep for a couple hours, wake up, and then.
Well, see, there's been studies about maximizing work time and sleep time, and there's like I think it's like the 2-hour method, where you sleep for 2 hours, you work for 4 hours, and then sleep for 2 hours, and in the end, you end up sleeping only like. I forget exactly what it is, but it's basically power naps throughout the entire day on an actual schedule cycle instead of just taking a nap randomly and stuff like that. People have been doing a lot on the interwebs I've seen. And I think that's also the main problem is that with how our schedule fluctuates throughout the week.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we have to get up in the morning, sometimes we don't have to get up until the afternoon, and it's a pattern. It's like morning, afternoon, and it fluctuates so much that I just fuck up my sleeping schedule every single day. I can't get on a standard sleeping schedule just because of how our schedule is laid out.
I mean, we could get up at
7 every morning,
but who wants to do that?
But it's just like, I guess it's kind of a mental thing, because in your brain you're just like, oh shit, I don't really have to get up until lunchtime. And that'll kick your brain into gear and make you stay up and won't let you sleep. But I also have a secondary issue with sleeping, is that I have sleep apnea.
Really? I never knew that.
Sleep apnea is basically just like your airways are.
Yeah.
And you snore. That's basically what sleep apnea is. It's basically just snoring. Of course, it can get pretty bad to the point where you wake up because you can't breathe and shit like that. But I've woken myself up, like, right as I'm about to fall into REM sleep. There have been times where I will start to snore and it will literally jerk me awake, which is really weird. Because the best way I can describe it is I guess I'm a predatory sleeper.
So like when that happens, I just imagine you like,
I will jump.
Huh?
Yeah,
and
literally.
Then like
it's one of those things where I'll be like if I fall asleep in a car on a long drive, or if I fall asleep in my bed and this happens, it's really just like a little like jolt, and I'll wake up. It's not like I do a big sweeping motion or anything like that, but it's like a jump scare in a game. It's like that little like hiccup you get. It's like that.
So
basically.
like, when that happens to you, do you know it's because like, oh, I was snoring, or is it that
because I hear the very beginning of the snore when I wake up, because your brain wakes up before your body does.
Yeah.
So like in my ears, I can hear me going. That's what I hear, and that's what wakes me up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it's really weird how it happens. But I'm also like, the best way to describe it is just I'm a predatory sleeper. Like, I can have sounds going on in my room whenever I need to sleep. I actually prefer it that way. I don't like dead silence. So you would think it's weird that snoring wakes you up. Well, because I'm a predatory sleeper, like, say if you came into my room while I was sleeping, if I even hear my ears will become like hypersensitive while I'm asleep, and if I hear even like my doorknob unlatch, it will wake me up. Like, as a kid, Jesus, I am having the little burpees from lunch.
Good old Chinese
food. But as a kid, whenever my mom would come into my room to wake me up for school, because I never set an alarm as a kid.
I don't think any kids did. I think their parents just woke them up.
Yeah, she just came in and woke up. But literally every time I would hear because my door was also creaky a little bit, so I would hear the doorknob latch. That would wake me up, and then hearing the door open would wake me up even further. And my mom always described it as like, as soon as she would enter the room, my eyes would be wide open. I'd just be staring at her. So like,
weird.
I'm just an odd predatory sleeper, and like any noise that's like out of the ordinary for me will wake me up. So like when the sleep apnea like is really bad and I'm snoring really loud, it will wake me up and jolt me awake. But I've also, have you ever? I feel like I'm talking a lot, but have you ever been a part of sleep paralysis? Has that ever happened to you?
No, a lot of people have told me about it and how like terrifying.
Have I ever told you my story?
You might have, but go ahead and tell me again. Tell it for the tell it for the
people.
Tell it to the audience. Tell it to
I don't
Christian
remember
Bean
exactly
and Eli.
when it happened. It was like towards the end of high school, or maybe it was like in the summer before college or something, like, or in between semesters. But I remember I was laying in bed, and I had fallen asleep on my back, which I've actually been doing here recently, which is worse for my apnea. But I somehow fell asleep on my back, and I remember waking up and looking around, and I couldn't move my head, only my eyes. And my legs were straight, and my arms were straight against my like
body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really weird, because normally when you fall asleep, you're like in a super relaxed position. But I was like hyper, like I was fucking plank mode. It was really bad. And like I'm looking around and I can't move my head, so I start to try to move my body and I can't move my body. And then I go to speak and it's just like, and I can't speak. So I'm just like, I'm freaking out because to me it was either this was a nightmare. Like in my mind I was thinking I was in a dream.
Yeah.
Because it got weird. Like I felt myself start sinking into my bed. Like it felt like one of those dream sequences where you fall into the bed and the sheets are wrapping around you as you're falling. It was like that. I was slowly just creeping into my bed, slowly like sinking like quicksand until everything just went black. And then I reopened my eye. Like I had closed my eyes to like hold my breath. And then when I opened my eyes, I was just laying there and I was perfectly fine.
Weird.
So like I had a weird moment where like I was literally paralyzed. I couldn't move my head, I couldn't move my arms, my limbs, I couldn't speak. All that was coming out was like little gasps of air.
Let me tell you about our buddy Eli. His sister has sleep paralysis. She told me a pretty funny story one time.
That's weird because that's the only time it's ever happened to me. Only time it's ever happened to me. Because it's not a known thing in my family for it to happen. Sleep apnea is just because fucking
snoring,
respiratory shit is
genetic
at times.
But Eli's sister was telling me about a time she had sleep paralysis, and she was laying there in her bed, and across from her, like I guess her upper area is like a closet, and so she couldn't move, and she darted her eyes over to her closet, and the door opened up, and in the top shelf, or in the top part of the closet.
See, that's the weird part about sleep paralysis, is that every time I've ever heard about it, the way that people describe it is that they wake up but they're not able to move. But in both of these instances, there's like dream elements that are coming into it. They're like invading it. That make it like a really surreal experience to have.
Well, no, a lot of people talk about these having like really bad nightmares with sleep paralysis.
Every time I had ever read up about it,
There's a really good documentary called The Nightmare. It's on Netflix about like all these traumatic experience people had on sleep paralysis. But
shout out to Netflix. Subscribe to their service. They're not a sponsor.
They are a sponsor.
Dude, no, shut the fuck up. We're never gonna get a sponsor the way you talk.
But anyways, door opens in the top part. There's just a naked, wrinkled up, like tar black Eli, just like burned. It looks like he's like burned to a crisp, just like curled up in the closet. And she said she was looking at it, and it just like fell down, just boom, thud on the ground, and then she just heard boom, boom.
That's a heavy fucking baby.
No, it wasn't baby Eli.
It was just a small Eli. No, that's what I'm saying.
It was regular sized Eli.
Oh, the way you're describing it, I was thinking like it looked like the baby from PT that you find in the sink.
Oh, no. It's just like...
It was just a black tar-ridden Eli.
Yeah, he was just like curled up in the closet, and just like he fell out, and you just heard thudding, and then it grabbed her hand, and she woke up.
Woke up. Dude, fucking, she was woke.
Woke up.
She was woken. Yeah, like, God, sleep is such a weird, baffling, like, thing to me. Like, I understand why it's needed. The body needs to rest. The body must rest. Your brain needs a reboot every so often. So it's just like, I understand it and stuff like that. But like my sleeping pattern and like how I get to sleep is just so weird and so convoluted. Because the main thing about sleep is that you can't do it until you're not thinking about it.
I think the worst part too for me and you with our sleeping schedules is we fuck them up even worse is because we sleep a lot during the day.
Yeah, we'll take random naps because we're so tired because we fucked up our sleep schedule and we don't get any sleep during the night. So then we take naps, which makes it stay up even later the next night.
And it just gets worse and worse and worse.
And then I'll fix it on the weekends and then come back and fucking mess it up all over again. Like I've tried my hardest to try to get a decent sleep schedule, but it always fails.
I hate it.
Me too. But then again, like I was never a huge, like throughout my entire life, I don't remember ever being a very big sleeper.
There in like middle school and early high school, I like to sleep a lot, but like my mom, I got to a point where my mom was like, I'm not going to let you take naps, because I would stay up so late and then like be late for school.
See, like I'm really good at just doing power naps and being able to just push through it until my next power nap and stuff like that, which makes me feel like that 2 hour like sleep schedule that people like have thought up would probably actually work for me fairly well.
I mean, once you get a stable little editing job,
yeah,
where you're just in your room, just like that little thing we made.
Don't talk about that
in class.
But like for like I remember as a kid, like I had a radio in my room because I like to sleep with sound. It doesn't matter what like how dark it is or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It matters if I need something to listen to, which is bad. Don't get me wrong. You're supposed to sleep in complete darkness and complete silence to get the best sleep. Never done that in my life. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I should just stop doing shit.
I actually didn't know that was a thing. Like,
yeah, no, you sleep better without anything around you. But I remember as a kid having the radio to listen to at night when I fell asleep. Which yes, you can have a radio outside of a car, just so you know, for all you kiddos out there.
For all you millennial folk.
Oh God, we're millennials too.
I know. It's a joke.
But
no, we're 90s kids. We were born in 98.
We were fucking born late 90s. I wasn't born in 98.
Oh, yeah. I also just gave away my age.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, what are you doing, dude? But I always had a radio and I always listened to music. And I remember distinctly as a kid, I think it was the night after I watched Child's Play. I watched Child's Play at a really young age. I watched Chucky at a really young age. Like, I was still in elementary school when I watched Chucky. Which, I mean, maybe that's a topic for another podcast. But, like, we can talk about, like, ages when we got to do shit and how we would, like, and how, like, that correlated to how we grew up and stuff like that. How we were raised, I guess we could call that podcast. How we were raised. But I watched Child's Play really early as a kid, and it was around Easter time for whatever reason. It wasn't around Halloween or anything like that. It was around Easter. And it was for the sole fact, and I remember this so vividly, because for Easter I got one of those, like, you remember the clacking teeth?
Yeah.
That you would wind up and it would clack? I got one that was like a little rabbit, and you would wind it up and its feet would pop up and down so it would hop across the table. And it had the weirdest little beady fucking eyes. And it sat on top of my dresser by my radio. And like the little red LED on my radio would light it, like give it a backlight and give it like a red silhouette and shit like that. I remember laying in bed as a kid just staring at it all night because like I mean it wasn't even big. It was like maybe the size of like a computer mouse. Like it wasn't big at all. And I just like I remember it, and it only bothered me for a single night.
Really?
Yeah, and I just remember staring at it for like 3 hours because that weird like green like red halo that went around it like just kind of freaked me out, and I was just like, what if that rabbit comes to life? And then the more I thought about it, the more stupid it sounded, because I was just like, the only moving parts are its feet. It's also the size of like my hand, so I was just like, I mean, nothing to be afraid of. But like I've always had stuff to listen to, like just as a kid. And then when middle school hit, I still had the radio in my room. I've told you this story. I know I have. But all throughout middle school, every single day besides the weekends, I think I probably only got an hour to an hour and a half of sleep a day. For 3 years. 3 years. It was a good time. And it was because I really got into it was when we first got a actual like decent working computer that we could use. It was an old compact Windows XP. and we got internet, and I found the beauty of YouTube, and I found the beauty of anime, and I found the beauty of YouTube content. So,
at the time, early YouTube content where
well,
you could just
YouTube
have
content
episodes.
at the time was fucking Smosh, Ray William Johnson with =3, and Fred.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like at the time, like the copyright stuff.
Oh yeah, and the copyright stuff wasn't strong, so you could find literally like any movie or anime on YouTube and stuff like that. So like, and there was also a TV in this computer room, which I always wanted to do, and I had jury rigged it to hook up with a VCR, which I found acted as a cable box and gave me more channels. So every night at around 9-10 p.m. when I knew my parents were going to bed, I would grab, well, it depends. If I was just going to be on the computer, I would just go in there and sit at the chair until I was ready to go to sleep. But if I wanted to watch TV, I would grab all my pillows, all my bedding, and I would actually go into the computer room and set up a makeshift bed on the floor of the computer room. And I would watch Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. Sadly, it didn't go all the way up to Cartoon Network. But like I would literally watch Nick at Night and like the late night Disney, like fucking Little Mermaid and Lilo and Stitch cartoons.
Good stuff. The Lilo and Stitch show, quality show.
Quality content from Disney. Until about 5:30 when I heard my mom's alarm go off, I would collect all my things back up, go back into my room, remake my bed, and sleep for an hour and a half until my mom woke me up to get ready for school. So like all throughout middle school, I didn't sleep a whole lot, and of course I got caught every so often. Like I'd forget which way turned up the volume on the speakers, and I didn't want to turn on any lights. So like there were several moments where I blasted the entire house with fucking anime and shit like that, and my dad would come storming back and be like, "What the hell are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just watching videos," and he's like, "Go to bed." I was like, "No." But there was one time where I accidentally fell asleep before I heard my mom's alarm when I was watching TV. So like they caught me in the computer room on the floor with a makeshift bed made out of like shitty pillows and like blankets, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I was just like watching TV, and they're like, "Why didn't you just move the TV into your room?" That was an option. And then from then on, I had a TV in my room, and it was the best day ever. And it was one of those old, like, super, like, blocky 11-inch Sonys that you used to have. And I had that literally until freshman year of high school. I only had that TV in there for about a year. Then for my birthday, I asked for a flat screen. I got a little 32-inch to put into my room.
That's pretty cool.
And now that TV's in our common room.
Oh wait, it's that TV.
Yeah. And it all comes full circle.
I used to listen to some weird stuff to go to sleep to.
Dude, I hated the radio during Halloween though, because they would play all the freaky sounding ads and stuff.
Like I had a TV in my room from when I was little, so I'd always go to bed watching cartoons. Normally, it's when I got into like Family Guy and stuff because I'd watch Cartoon Network until my parents went to bed.
My middle school days were also my Adult Swim days.
Yeah. It was just, that wasn't even middle school. That was elementary school. And then middle school went around and I found the love of YouTube myself. And then around 8th grade, I shit you not, up to sophomore year of high school, I went to bed every night listening to a creepypasta.
Oh, hot diggity damn. I never really got into creepypastas, in all honesty.
I just loved the
which is weird because I'm super into spooky horror stuff. I'm a big fan of that, but like I don't know, creepypastas never freaked me out.
I don't know, there are a couple of them that got me. Like Jeff the Killer, when I first learned about Jeff the Killer, that image really scared me as a little 8th grader. And
I don't know, man. I was making scarier shit in my middle school days.
Oh yeah, Scooby-Doo and the Boneless Skeleton.
What are you talking about? Don't bring up my past. Yeah, I don't know. Creepypastas were never my big thing. Like middle school was definitely the age where I kind of found what I wanted to do.
I get that.
Because, I mean, being on the computer and watching TV, you watched a bunch of movies, and that's how I found out that I liked movies. And then I wanted to learn how all that was made. So I asked for a camera for Christmas, and then I started learning how to edit, and I found that I liked editing a lot. So I started researching computers, and from that I learned about like everything that I could about computers. And then I was like, I'm going to challenge myself. So I bought parts and built a computer, and it's the one we're using today. Except, I mean, it's been updated and redone like 5 times at this point, in all honesty.
What is that noise?
Yeah, it was an airplane.
No, it's the lawnmower. They're mowing right now.
Weird times, dude. But yeah, like, what was I saying?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyways,
that's a good segue into
good topic, good time. are we saying how long you can hold this, or
what do you think about the new Star Wars?
It's not out yet.
I know, but like, what's your opinion? Like, what the new trilogy as a whole? Are you a fan of it? Do you not like it?
I've seen a one.
Look, man, I'm just trying to fucking keep the podcast going on.
Keep the podcast going.
Talk to me about Star Wars.
Okay, Jesus Christ, I'll talk to you about Star Wars. I think Kylo Ren's a little bitch.
Kylo Ren is a little bitch.
He's got his little ego. He's thinking he's all cool. He's gonna kill his dad and his mom. Spoilers.
Nah, I mean, everyone knew his mom died.
Huh?
I mean, everyone knew his mom died. Yeah, that's
Carrie Fisher.
That was the joke I was making.
I know. I was giving them the punchline. Well, it's not a very funny punchline.
Yeah, it wasn't a funny joke. In poor taste. Anyways.
But I don't know. In all honesty, I wasn't a huge, even though I love sci-fi, I love grounded, realistic sci-fi.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I wasn't into Star Trek or the Sci-Fi Channel or anything like that. And I remember one of my good friends, good old Chuck, my buddy Chuck. He was really into Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so I rented all of the Star Wars movies from Blockbuster one day, and I binged the entire series in a weekend. And I mean, they're cool and all. I like the originals. They're okay. I couldn't pick a favorite because, in all honesty, I don't even remember them. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so I mean, when it comes to the new trilogy, I'm just excited to see what they do with it. Of course, The Force Awakens was kind of a rehash of a story we've already seen, but it's also that's the safest way to bring the series back.
Especially after the last time they tried to bring this,
so for me it's I'm ready to see what the rest of the trilogy holds.
Yeah,
less of hey, thank you. So I don't know how that works, but I'm ready to see what the rest of the trilogy holds, because I think The Force Awakens was a nice introduction to get us back into that galaxy far, far away.
I think.
But I will say this, or do you have? Because I was about to segue into another topic. Do you have something to say about Star Wars?
I don't know. I just feel like now it's getting to be more nostalgia based, or that's what I felt like all The Force Awakens was just, oh hey, remember the Millennium?
I felt like it was nostalgia based for the larger fans and stuff like that, the fans that knew. But I also felt like it was a very nice introduction back into the series. Because, I mean, the last trilogy, let's not beat around the bush. It was a bad time.
Sand.
Sand.
It's so coarse and I hate it.
But I felt like it was a nice introduction back. And I feel like that was the safest route and the best route they probably could have taken with The Force Awakens, which is why I'm more excited about the future films in the franchise.
Me too.
Especially Solo, a Star Wars story.
I just hope that this next one that's coming out, The Last Jedi, will just won't be Empire Strikes Back at how.
I've watched.
It looks a lot different
I've
from the trailers.
Both trailers that have come out, and I'm thinking it's gonna be fairly different. I mean,
I'm hoping. And that one last note about Star Wars is just these spin-offs just don't look like Rogue One to me.
You didn't like Rogue One?
It was boring to me. It was. Just
I haven't seen it.
It's just boring. It's just boring, and then it's a boring story that happens to take place in Star Wars.
Well, I feel like those spin-offs are just for like lore purposes and backstory. In all honesty, so
but
like
they should still be entertaining pieces of work.
Rogue One did pretty well.
It did well because it was Star Wars.
Your opinion? I'm sorry, sir, but your opinion doesn't match the other 7 million people in the world. I mean, 7 billion people in this world. Sorry to say. But what I was gonna segue to earlier was, did you have a specific friend that you always went to the movies with?
No,
I had one, and it was Chuck, the guy that was super into Star Wars. We started this ritual whenever a big movie would come out that we were really pumped to see, we would only go see it with each other.
Yeah.
So like we did it for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Godzilla, The Force Awakens. That was the biggest one we ever did because it was the last day of school before winter break when we got out, and we literally hopped into our fucking shitty car and we drove to Nashville
to see it,
to the IMAX, and that's how we saw it. We saw Force Awakens in IMAX, and that was the biggest one. Sorry about the background noise with the mowing. I'll try to fix it. I'm so sorry.
Is it picking it up?
I don't know.
Oh, well, we'll see.
We'll see it later.
Well,
it's not picking it up too bad.
Fuck, what do they call it? I forgot the name of our dwarves. The Dwarven Elves of Isengard. Yes.
Oh yeah, they so fucking.
Our editors.
But
that's a throwback. Go watch your first vlog. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
But like me and my buddy Chuck would only go see movies together, and that was the big one that we did. Was we went to go see IMAX for Force Awakens.
See, I was gonna go see. Well, I do have a buddy that I always go see movies with. You know him, Billy. I always would go see movies with him, and mainly Marvel movies because that's what we're really into. And
we did Marvel movies too. Like it was literally just any movie we were super interested in, we would go see. But like the big thing that we would do was after the movies on the car ride home or anything like that, we would discuss the movie in detail. And like that was like even then, like whenever I've talked to him like since then, he was just like, man, I miss going to the movies because of those talks afterwards. Because like he knew I was a movie guy, and like I would go super in depth with stuff, and like if it was a character he knew more than me, like he would talk about the stories. Like when we went to The Force Awakens, the entire ride back, we were talking about the Knights of Ren and what we thought it would be like.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that. So like, that was my big thing. Like all through high school.
Me and my buddy actually, we couldn't go see The Force Awakens on opening night because his mom wouldn't let him. She was too scared that
it would burn a hole of Satan in his mind.
No, she was just scared. I think one of those theater shootings had happened recently. It was one of the ones. It was a smaller one. Like,
you mean it wasn't the Joker one?
It wasn't the Joker one. There was another theater shooting that either it was a shooting or like some sort of attack at a theater.
I don't remember. That happens like so often now.
But
that's why we have police at theaters now.
But yeah, she didn't let him go out, and that was a sad day. We couldn't. And I also got it spoiled for me before I got to go see it.
Same.
Because of that.
And I went and saw it opening night. Because you want to know why? And this really fucking pissed me off.
Huh.
We were literally at the IMAX. We were sitting in the IMAX, okay?
Yeah.
Right before the movie was going to roll. And I checked my Snapchat. And on the fucking story, one of my close friends just puts R.I.P. Han. And I'm just like, you son of a bitch. That's why, like, when Logan was coming out, and I hadn't seen it in theaters yet, when our buddy started posting shit on his story, like actual video.
Oh yeah.
And I thought it was actually part of the movie, and I got super pissed off at him, and it turned out to just be an ad. But it's still a case in point. I would have rather seen it in theaters and have it spoiled.
No. I get it. At least like Mine was some random GIF on like Facebook.
Oh no! As soon as we saw it, and as soon as I started watching videos online, like just scrolling to the comments of the video, the first one would be like, "Guys, Han Solo dies in the new Star Wars."
I hated it.
But that happens every single time a big blockbuster comes out. It happens every single time.
But still, doesn't make it okay.
It's not okay. But what can you do? Have hiccups.
I can tell you what we can do. We can talk about... Shit, I had an idea and then it went poop and it went away. Poof, not poop.
Let's talk politics.
Let's not talk politics. That's the worst thing we can talk about on a podcast.
Give me a top 10 of the most attractive people in
the U.S. Senate.
Yeah, in the U.S. Senate. Can you give me a top?
You make me really mad.
Oh God, these hiccups won't go away. That was a joke. Don't
take me away from you.
What? Oh God! Everything's devolving.
Yeah, it is. It's okay. Anyways, it's National Food Day. Found that out. Just found that out on Twitter. So, God. Tell me about some of your favorite foods.
I can't. I'm hiccuping too.
Okay, I'll tell you about some of my favorite foods. My favorite foods, I really like chicken and dumplings. Chicken and dumplings.
Dude, my mom's chicken and dumplings will kick your chicken and dumplings out of the park.
Look, you gotta have my dad's chicken and dumplings. Those are some good chicken and dumplings.
Let me show you some quail and dumplings, okay? Oh, all
Quailin'?
Right. Quail?
Oh, I thought you said quailin', and I'm like, what's a quailin'?
Quail and dumplings. I still have the hiccups. I'm so sorry. And keep telling me about chicken and dumplings.
I don't know. It's just really good. The breading that makes the dumplings, which is weird because it's like it's just like dough that you boil in water.
Yeah.
And chicken broth. It's a weird thing that you make.
Yeah, I mean,
because would you call it bread?
Oh God.
Or would you just call it like boiled dough? What really is a dumpling if you think about it?
I can't. I don't.
You got it. Just get it on out. You got it.
A dumpling is basically a thick form of pasta. Basically, when you think of it, it's just a very thick noodle. That's why the dumplings are so small, is because you have to fully cook the dumpling so that it's a nice, moist, juicy
dumpling. Man, so what I don't know what that sentence was.
Are we not talking about food anymore?
Oh, we used to talk about food. I mean, are you good to talk about food? Tell me about.
I thought you were going to tell me more about your chicken and dumplings.
I didn't have anything else to say other than that.
Then why did you break up chicken and dumplings?
Because I like chicken and dumplings. I want to talk about my favorite food. Why? Because they're good.
That's like saying, what's your favorite movie?
Whiplash.
Why?
Because it's a fucking good movie.
But why? We've learned this. You can't just say it's good or it's bad. Give me reason. Give me in-depth discussion.
Because I like the taste of the succulent chicken and the way it tears against the really soft chewiness of the dumplings.
Damn.
There you go.
That was sexual.
I didn't mean for it to be, but if that's what you get off to, it's what you get off to.
I'm so sorry. I don't know where these hiccups came from.
I don't know. I guess it was just a little hiccup.
Like, normally this would happen after I eat.
Well, I mean...
No, like, right after I eat.
Okay. I was about to say, you did just eat.
Well, no, because, like, hiccups are caused by your brain not getting enough oxygen.
No, it's just that you're growing. Have you never heard that? You get hiccups means you're growing.
No. But hiccups are caused when your brain doesn't get enough oxygen. So it causes your lungs to like kind of like have little minor seizures, which causes it to hiccup. Bad times, I know.
Impression of a hiccup.
It used to be so easy for me to get rid of hiccups, but as I've grown up, I can't. Like, it's so hard.
No, yeah, I same. It's like
I don't know why it doesn't work. Like the old methods don't work no more.
I keep trying to hold my breath, and every time I like hold my breath to do it, I'll just hiccup again, and it'll make me not hold my breath
I think
anymore.
it's kind of like a placebo effect, in all honesty.
Placebo effect? What is that? Fill us in for the rest of the fellas that don't know.
Fake medicine that doesn't actually do shit.
Yeah.
But since your mind believes it does shit.
Exactly.
Which is why my mom and dad drink pickle juice to get rid of their hiccups.
Wait.
It works. For that.
Weird.
It was just an old wives' tale that like
people use, and I guess, like you said, because it's a placebo.
No, it just happened recently. Like, my dad got the hiccups while he was working. And, it was at a house, and the lady he was working for was just like, you had the hiccups? And he was like, yeah. It's just like, drink some pickle juice, and hands him a jar of pickles. Then drinks it, and they go away instantly. I don't know why. I don't know how it works. Someone look up the scientific reasoning for why pickles get rid of hiccups. What?
Oh no, I was laughing at what you said.
Oh, oh God! Why won't these go away?
Well, I guess if they won't go away, we will.
Oh damn!
So
send us off. I can't do it.
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys. Oh God! Thank you guys for joining us for this fourth episode of the podcast. That's Tech and I'm Fish. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let's try and get 1,500 million likes. Oh God! It made me cough.
Oh no!
I think we're both dying. Oh God!
We'll see you next time in the Minds of Tech and Fish.
I'll see you guys. Bye.